Hey, okay, so this stream, I don't know how long it's gonna be because I don't think I'm gonna be playing that many games. Um, the game is in a strange place for me. Um, I'm just gonna show the feedback. They changed the eventide mode a lot. Like I mean, it's completely, it's so different. It could be its own. It could be a different mode. It could literally be called skirmish because it feels more like a bunch of fights with four events that happen, and then you're just fighting and collecting shards the whole time. Um, I understand the idea of trying to speed up the mode, but it would have been nice to speed up the mode without completely changing the mode, which is what happened here. Like event tide. If you break it down into two words, it's event and a tide. Like a bunch of events happening over and over again. So the original event tide had the ability for it to keep looping through events until you reach a certain criteria to reach the final harvest. Now you play four events and then it shouts out for final harvest. The reason I say it's a shout out, the final harvest doesn't make any difference. Back in the original Eventide, Final Harvest, your score would basically go down to zero based on how much resources and score that you had. Your score would be depleting, and that depletion would happen based on who had four 4 points in outpost control. And what I meant by that is there were six outposts. One outpost was worth two, and the other five were worth one. So you could literally have 7 points in outpost control, or what was always being looked for is one person has four and the other person has three. So old Eventide, Final Harvest's whole thing was keeping your opponent to two outposts because at two they can never have more outpost points than you could have. If you have three center and two others, you'd have four. If you have four of the outside ones, you also have four. So if you kept the opponent to two of the six outposts, they can't possibly win. It was a strategy. It was it required some effort, and it was kind of fun. Like I mean, the only thing that sucks is if you were playing an overmatched, if you were overmatched by a person, like by numbers, or by numbers and bots. That's when like there was nothing you can do. But in general, even in that way, eventide could be come down to so close that I've won an eventide match with 249 points left on the scoreboard because our scores are both draining. Whenever one team had the advantage, you could literally drain the score down. I've won a match with 249 left, and the other person had zero. That means that went back and forth a lot. Also, in the old Eventide, if I was playing with a bunch of people who understood how to play Final Harvest, even if our score was really low, we could actually still take over the game. We could actually still come in, and even if I had like 10,000 and the other team had 30,000 or 40,000, I could still come into the game and still win the Eventide based on playing the last event, Final Harvest, and having more outpost points than the other team through the whole harvest. That was it. That's all you had to do to win Eventide. This Eventide right now, you play four events and then it shouts out Final Harvest. The problem with it, I call it a shout out, is because that Final Harvest has no meaning to the game. That Final Harvest, outposts don't matter. That Final Harvest, um, your score is not draining. You're trying to get your score higher. By the time you finish the fourth event, in most cases, and you're in Final Harvest, one team is going to have 20,000 points. Final Harvest shout out ends at 30,000 points. Whoever reached 30,000 points first, game ends. So, like, honestly, supposedly, the way the game was done to make this better was when one team reaches 20,000, the overseer comes out. So the overseers don't come out in pairs anymore. They come out one at a time. Each team has to reach 20,000 before they see it. The problem is This game ends at 30. It's not that much of an advantage. If that other team is outscoring you by like 12,000 points or more, that means they're way more efficient at scoring points than you are, and they're probably creaming you in all of the events. So they're just racking up points left and right. They're also better at running shards than you are, because if you're 12,000 behind or more, the game's not even close. Like, there should be like a grief system or a mercy system. Like, if one team is beating the other team by 15, 16,000 points, the game should just end. Like, you are not coming back from that. There's just no way. Not in this new system. It's not possible. Because I've come into games that way, and they put you in at the beginning of the third event. You can't do enough, fast enough, to bring the score back up. If you're not coming in with 6 people or 5 or 6 people with you, and each of you are hitting main objectives and taking them down at the same time and running a boatload of shards and preventing the other team from scoring shards, you can't win. It's next to impossible to stop. I've played so many games now. Third event starts, even if the score is only 5,000 apart, I still can't win. Just the third event is not even something that they should be bringing people in if there's a massive score disparity. It's like almost impossible to come back. Your chances of winning is less than 5%. Less than 5. So 95% chance you're going to lose. So why are you even bringing people into it when the third event is there and the score is lopsided? So high that it's not even playable. So that's the biggest issue. Final Harvest means nothing in the new Eventide. It means absolutely nothing. It's just a shout out to tell you, hey, no more events are coming. Because that's all it does. There are some good things about this new skirmish version of Eventide. That's why, to me, I don't know why the feedback always gets thumbs down. Whenever I say, hey, these modes are so different than the modes that they're replacing, why not just make them a separate mode and keep the classic mode too? That's 2 modes now instead of 1. But yet, every time you say that, people thumbs it down, and you're just like, so you want them to either keep this one, or what if they don't bring back the old one? So we should stay stuck with this one? To me, give me 2 options. To me, more modes is better than less. Some people enjoy this. It has some redeeming qualities. It's faster paced. I like that. It shortened some of the events. Some of the events were 3 minutes long. They're less than 90 seconds now, or 90 seconds or less. To me, that's brilliant. Like, that's a lot better. It's just that some of them running for 3 minutes, 150 seconds. 3 minutes was just too long for some of the events. Like Wild Moon and Wild Surge just lasted forever. It took a long time for these stupid crystals to fall from the sky, and then you're just waiting there, waiting for crystals to fall. And that just doesn't make sense. I like the shortened versions where it's 3 and done, and the timing on them is tighter, so everything happens quicker. I like that. I like that the events happen faster, but they happen a bit too fast. The events should happen somewhere between 60 to 75 seconds apart. Because like right now, we're waiting like 190 seconds. If not 190 seconds, we're waiting about 150 seconds. It's a long, long wait to try to get into another event in Eventide. If they wanted to, like, they literally could have sped the game up by just shortening Wild Moon and Wild Surge and shortening the time between events in the original Eventide. That's it. That's all that needed to be done. And the game would have played faster. That's what takes a long time. It's waiting 120 or more seconds, or 120 seconds between events. That's what takes so long. It's too long. Anywhere between 60 to 90 seconds would be a better thing. But I think 75 would be the golden number, or even 80 seconds. 80 seconds between events, and it would play better. They added also speed crystals everywhere on the map. I think that's also very cool. The map is huge, and if you don't have control of outposts, you can't get anywhere on the map. And the jump pads are all at the outer edges of the map, and they're only in one or two sections. There's some you can jump one way, but you can't jump back the other. So if the jump pads were worked both ways, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But they don't. There's only key parts at that very outer rim of the map is where it works. Like one person was saying, he doesn't think that one person should be able to solo overseer. That doesn't make any sense. It's the same way he was claiming that, the same way he was saying, not even claiming, he was saying that he never had trouble moving around the map because he always played assassin build. That's because he's using sprint or temporal rush or something like that, right? But not everybody plays assassin. It's the same reason why some people can solo an overseer like myself, is because my build is designed to beat high targets with high health and high value objectives. My build is designed to do it. The same way you think it's okay for you to be able to run and nobody else is, some people want to be able to solo large targets by themselves. That's just the way it is. Like, no matter how many people are playing, my goal is always the same. Get rid of the Imperial Guardians, get rid of the Overseer. 9,000 points for the team. Whether you have defenders or not, it's harder for me. It depends how good the defenders are. But in most cases, I'll die trying, but I will usually kill the objective that I'm after. That's just how I play. It's get rid of the high value objectives to get our score back up. Like, I'll come into games that are where teams were down by 10,000 in the original Eventide or more, like 15,000. It has to be less than 10,000. But I would come into a game and score 9,000 points very quickly to keep the game going. So it's the new Eventide fact that it doesn't have a criteria to create Final Harvest and it just happens after the fourth event. That's horrible. There's more health in it, and like I said, it's a good and a bad thing because it makes some builds that are health that have no health like shine, and it makes some builds with high health even just more ridiculous. Um, the hardest event now in Eventide is Flashpoint, the last event now, and it just takes forever because if you don't catch people, if you don't have a primal that can hit multiple people at one time and just devastate them, that event can take a lifetime. Like, it takes almost a whole 3 minutes to finish it. It takes a really long time. That's because of the extra health. The other problem it has is it's a spawning problem. Um, there are crystals now that are worth so much. You can play the game just farming crystals and beat the other team. If you take out their Imperials and Core Behemoth and run shards, you can win the game. You don't have to do anything else. Overseers, you don't even have to touch them. They're not necessary. Because Overseers are super tanky now, and they're harder to beat. And if you're not running the right build, you ain't taking that thing out. And if you're not having anybody help you do it, you're also not taking it out. It's just it's not enough time for you to be able to do it by yourself if you're not running a lead. So that's the issue with it. Um, they did something new with the Overseer and the Keeper. They buffed up their health, and what they did is when you get them to the halfway point, their health doesn't regenerate past the halfway point. The Overseer has 3 points. It has 66, 33. So if you are in those 2 points, the Overseer won't be able to regenerate past 33%. It won't be able to regenerate past 66%, which is really helpful because there were games where you could never capture the Overseer because you would get the health all the way down to a sliver, and then it would regenerate all the way back to the top the next time you got there because either a defender killed you or the Overseer just killed you right before you killed it, and trying to get back to it took a really long time because the health used to regenerate so fast you couldn't keep up with it. Like they also added more Mega Knot buffs. The problem is where they chose to put the buffs. Right now, the southern part of the map is so clogged with points and buffs that if you just stay down south the whole game, only go up north to get that northern Imperial Guardian, and never go back there again, you could still win the game without ever traveling past the midpoint of the map. So that's those are like some of the issues that are like really weird. Um, it doesn't make sense. Also, the outposts have no value. They're just faster ways to score your shards. They have no value. You can completely ignore outposts in this version of Eventide, and you'd be a okay. You can complete you the to get conquest points. You want to win as many events as you can because your conquest points are capped at 170. You can't earn any more than that because it's 4 events, and if you win the game, you get 50. So if you win 4 events, you're gonna get 30 each. Compass of the Ascendant. Yeah, so um, that's one of the big things. Like right now, they also revamped the Ascension chart. I used to actually, when I was playing, I would actually care about this Ascension chart. I would check it all the time, see where I am, how close I am to my next level. The levels are so high to get to, there's no point in even bothering to check them. Like I don't check them at all anymore. It it was one of the few things I could do to for content and to keep the game fun. I who cares? I literally had to re-earn level 119 and level 120 all over again. I had to re-earn them. Um, and after re-earning them, to get to the next star chest in the game, I have to basically get another 42,000 plus points. 42,756 conquest points. To get back to 120, I've already earned over 62,000 conquest points. I have to earn over 104,000 conquest points to be able to get a star chest. Problem is, when I was earning all of the other levels, the amount needed to go from level to level was 4 times less. You used to get um you used to get Ascension Point XP or Accession XP for leveling stuff up, leveling up things through infusion, uh, getting um, uh, getting a mod. You also would get them if you got brand new gear. Like when I got my Lumias, I got 10,000. What do you call it? Accession XP. The Lumia stuff is worth a lot. So if I had gotten the mask before this changeover, I would have gained an extra 10,000 XP. I don't have the mask, and that's one of the other problems. It's super hard to get things at random. Like my basic account that I use right now in on iOS, this account is very trinket and ability specific. It likes giving me trinkets and abilities the most. That's what I get the most of. The next thing I get the most of is going to be heavies and what do you call it? Power, gear related to primals, not mass, just the gear related to primals. So the primal ability or the primal power. I mean, the primal ability or the primal relic. Those are the only things I get in spades a lot. I rarely get um, primary weapons, and after that, I also never get like if it's a mass I don't own, the chance of me getting it is super slim. It's always been super slim. Like when I got Knock, when they let change Quints to Marks, I was shocked. Like that doesn't usually happen for me. So right now, I have every single item in the game except for one mask, and I can't get the mask. There is no way to get it in this account. If I had $100 that was burning a hole in my pocket, I could get it on the Android version that I have. But I'll be honest with you, unless I was like fundraising on a stream and I earned $100 from the stream just to buy it, I would never buy it outright without that. Like that's the way it would basically work. Um, where was I? Oh, loadout. Everything in my loadout is level 20. This is the only thing I don't have. And there is no way to get it in this version because my shop looks like this.
I thought I might see you.
Specials, chess, rotating, and boost. In my Android version, there's a bunch of specials sitting up here. There's like 3 scrolling pages to the left of here of stuff you can get. There's also something called Ancient, and Ancient Mask is where you'll find the Lumia stuff. For $100, you can get the mask, you can get gear, you can get shard. I mean, you can get shard. Is it shards? No, you're gonna get Quints and you're gonna get Marks. It's the only place where you can get all of that stuff. It's the Ancient bundle is the equivalent to getting just 120 or 12,000 or 120,000 what do you call it, marks. So yeah, it does. This changed. I think Janks was there before. I had Avalanche and Janks before. So it changes for me. The big problem I'm having is every time I press this stupid star chest, I don't get anything. Yesterday I got Yortic Wraps. That's not one of the Starlit items. And the day before, I think I got like a Catalytic Shield. So it's weird. Like I don't get the Starlit items as much as whatever. Oh yeah, Lumia Easy ain't ever gonna be in Starlit items. And Starlit items, like I said, don't help me. Like here's what sucks about Starlit items. Starlit items, I tend not to get the item that's there. I tend not to get it. And if I do get it, I'll usually get the heavy. And if I don't get the heavy, I'll get the ability. Or I'll get the whatever else is there. The tendency to get the mask also that's listed in the Starlit item is almost impossible for me. When Knock was up, every time Knock was up, I've gotten another mask. I've gotten Sunder, I've gotten Isia, I've gotten Jordan, I've even gotten Janks, but I've never gotten Knock while it was Starlit. And I'll be pressing the chest. Sunder, Isia, that's all I kept getting. So when Isia's up, you're thinking at least I'm gonna get an Isia, Jordan. So to me, random number generators suck because none of the high probability chance that I should be getting something ever works out for me. So to me, it's like the worst possible way to get gear. It's the worst possible way to get anything. Like I can't complete this quest either. Get 2-star infusion? I can't do this. I go into Harvest. If you could at least pick what you want, I would have gotten my Tetrad up to at least 5 stars now. All I've been getting is Ring of the Veil and Misers. That's it. Ring of the Veil and Miser. Miser, Ring of the Veil. In the last 2, I've gotten Tetrads. But before that, Ring of the Veil, Ring of the Veil, Ring of the Veil, Miser, Miser, Ring of the Veil. That's all I keep getting on it. So it's like it's frustrating to me. Like, and here's the next problem. When we were stuck at the Brighton, the Negate Siren, and the Harbinger, I got lucky that we waited one extra week before the things changed over in the server. So I actually got the 5-star Brighton. Look where I am on the Negate Siren. I have never seen a Negate Siren since it's been removed off of the Harvest Quest. I think I got one in a star chest once. Just once. And I know I've gotten Brightons, at least 2 Brightons from the star chest. But that was while they were still in the Harvest rotation. When they were still part of the Harvest Quest, yeah. Since then, I have never seen a Brighton. I have never seen a Negate Siren. I have never seen them in the shop. I've never seen them in a chest. At all. Yeah, nah. The only time I was getting the stuff over and over again, it was weird, was when the Cold Diffusion Constant was there. Like, I got like 7 of those. That was one of the very few times like I was getting it over and over again. But in most cases, it gives me something totally not related to whatever the Starlit item is. Completely not related. I get more stuff that has nothing to do with the Starlit item than I get stuff that is actually in the Starlit item. Besides the Miser. The Miser just loves giving me, no matter what it does. It's there like all the time. I don't get it. The Heretic was another one. It loved giving me Heretics. Heretics and Misers over and over and over again. Everything else, not so much. So, I don't know. I was surprised. Actually, no. When Isia was there, I got a Torden. So, it's really, really weird. It does not work in a way, to me, that I would ever tell you random number generators is the best way to do stuff. I have 0 luck with them. I have the opposite of luck. Like, funny story. When there were only 2 masks available, or two or three masks available, I think it was Nock, Isia, and Sunder. Guess what mask I got when I got my second mask? Sunder. I had 2 Sunders for almost a month and a half. Until they created a quest that gave you Isia after reaching a weekly quest, I had 2 Sunders all that time. That's what I had. So, and it's funny. It's so rare. It only happened to 6 other people where they got Sunders again, and then other people got extra knocks. But they had everything and an extra knock. Me, Sunder, Isia. Until 0.10, I had Isia and Sunder only. 0.10 was the first time I gained Torden and Janks. And then when they did the Star Chest change, I got lucky and got Nock. That's it. After that, I've gotten everything else from Star Chest and shops. But I do not have the Lumia Isia mask. Everything else. So, I don't know. Like I said, the changes are weird. Like, I'll be honest, if they were to switch all weapons back to 0.12, awesome. If they were to switch all the primals back to 0.11, also awesome. To me, that's when the weapons and the primals were at their best. Every change they've done to differentiate them has weakened the way they play. Like Sunder, again, 12 seconds in primal form? No. Like 18, actually it was 10 when they first did the change. But that's from 18. They took 8 seconds away. 10 was so short, you get a leap attack in 3 swipes. You could not leap attack twice while you transform into Sunder. It was impossible. It was damn near impossible. You'd start the second leap and transform back to human. 12 seconds, you can get 2, maybe 3 leaps. and a few swipes. But would I prefer that to a super fast cooldown? No. I'd rather a super long cooldown and give me my damn 18 seconds. To me, 18 seconds under is luxurious. I can run around, I can take damage, I last a while. The funny thing about all of the primals, no matter what primal you play, no matter how much time they have or how much health they have, if humans focus them down, four or more humans focus any primal down, they die instantaneously. Like, they literally transform into primal and transform back to human. If 4 or more humans focus any primal down. It's been like that since 0.3. When they started messing around with their health and started making their health their timer, ever since that change was made, groups of humans, if they focus the primal, could devastate it. That's why even when I'm human and I wasn't playing Primal Hunter and I had my teammate fighting a primal, I would fight the primal with them, doing damage so to give their primal a leg up. It was the only way to guarantee we'd win. Always force the other person out of primal before them. That's literally what I do. I would always fight with the primal, because that little extra hits that you're doing, that damage that's bringing the health down, goes a long way. And I don't think a lot of people know that, or a lot of players play like that. You can help your primal win most fights. You don't just run away. You literally sit there and fight with them, and you'll win. If knock is dangerous, but if 4 players focus knock, disappears. If 4 players decided, nah, 1 or 2 of us are gonna die, but knock ain't making it, yeah, you would actually win. But like I said, a lot of people don't play like that. They see a primal, they run. You're playing Flashpoint, they don't play with you. Like, sometimes I would basically take the Flashpoint buff and fight the Overseer with it, and just gave up the Flashpoint, so at least we could get the 5,000 points. Because even though we don't win that, at least we get 5,000 points to in the old Eventide to pad up our score. So yeah, it's weird. I can tell you the new Eventide, like I said, when I saw the new Slayer, I thought there were some cool things about it, but with all that extra health, I love the bounty system in that one. I would wish they would have put that in the original Slayer and not change anything else. Allow you to get higher bounties, so then when you kill people, you can change the score faster. To me, that would make more sense. But that would have been, to me, a better change to Slayer